I went to my local dollar store, picked up a couple of hula hoops, and I painted them gold, and now we're going to create something really unique. I'm going to start by placing the hula hoops one on top of the other, creating a sphere. Now we're going to take a container and a piece of styrofoam and wedge that in. You can find all sorts of florals and containers from nicksseasonaldecor.com. Now we're going to take our hula hoops that we placed one inside of the other and just place it on top of the container. Now I just have some wire. These are left over from some floral stems. I'm just going to take them and bend them into a U shape. And we're going to use these as anchor pins to keep the hula hoop sphere in place. Do the same thing on this side. I'm going to work in one more just to prevent it from slipping out. Now I'm going to take our greenery and work it right into the styrofoam. And I'm also going to give it a slight bend to soften the edge of the container. Now I'm going to take a taller piece and place that right in the center. And all we have to do is just continue filling in. Now we can start working in these blossoms. I'm going to start with one rather tall, right in the middle. And then we can just fill in. And we're going to work in some of these. I think these are perfect for weddings. And honestly, you guys, you can do this in any color combo. Whatever the season is, whatever the holiday is, whatever the occasion is, it is a very easy way of creating a beautiful arrangement. So let's just tuck in a few pieces of these. And here's how it turned out, you guys, and I absolutely love it. It was so easy to do with $2 store hula hoops, a few flowers, and greenery. So honestly, you guys, you can create this for less than $10.
Take a tall and narrow funnel from Amazon. Cut the bottom part of the funnel with an X-Acto blade. Attach the funnel and a Dollar Tree glass candle holder and a decorative mirror with hot glue and adhesive. Take gold metallic spray paint and cover everything attached. Take 2 wood hoops of different sizes, a candle holder from Dollar Tree, and 2 skewers. Cover them with gold spray paint. Take a floral foam cube from Dollar Tree and remove a small sliver in the center with an X-Acto knife and ruler. Once that is complete, prepare the fake florals from Dollar Tree and Michael's Craft Supply. When the funnel piece is dry, take bejeweled ribbon from Dollar Tree and cut it down to cover pieces of the base. Use hot glue to attach it to the seams, the base, along with the candlestick part. Place floral foam in the funnel top. Take the candlestick base and glue it to the rectangular piece of floral foam. Take the wooden hoops and secure within the floral foam. Cut and attach wood skewers to the wood hoops with hot glue. From there, begin attaching the flowers to the hoops and the floral foam. Make sure it is all covered completely.
I've been to the Dollar Tree and I picked up a couple of these wreath forms. Then I picked up some dowels. These are about 30 inches long and they are white. Take off our little tag. Just in case you're interested, these are 9.8 inches, okay? And we're going to use 4 of these dowels. And I want these to be straight across from each other. So I'm going to mark these this way and this way. So we're going to divide our wreath in fourths. Now, the other part that has to be the same is we are going to put these into these, and you want to make sure that like this one is not way out here and on the other one it's way in here. So the way I do that is after lining these up, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to push it all the way down through both of my wreaths. And then I will know where my hole is. I have all 4 of my holes there. And now I'm going to take my little heat tool and I'm going to make all 4 of those holes just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take that. So there's a little bit bigger hole. Like so. And now I'm going to take my dowel and take some hot glue, put it down in the hole. It's okay if it squeezes out, and put the dowel right down into the hole. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. One of the other things that I picked up from Dollar Tree was this plaque. Yep, $1.25. It's not real high quality, as you can see, but it's a plaque and it's got this little hook so you can hang it up. I don't want to hang it up, so I am just going to take my wire cutters and I am going to just pull this little tack and hanger-upper thing right off of there. And I'm going to put it right down in the middle of my wreath, in between those. And I'm going to take the hot glue and put it all the way around the edge to secure it just like that. The next thing I picked up in the crafting corner at Dollar Tree was one of these little pieces of styrofoam. I'm just going to put a whole bunch of glue right there in the middle, and I'm going to stick that piece of styrofoam there in the middle, and now I'm going to let all of this glue dry. So I have my little piece of styrofoam glued onto here. This is all secure, everything is dry. It is time to start adding our flowers. And all I'm going to do is you can push the greenery up if you want, you can just cut it off. And you're going to cut these not terribly long, but on the outside edge you'll want them to be a little longer. So you're just going to take your wire cutters and cut your bushes apart. Cut each rose separately like so. And we're going to go ahead and you're going to start on the outside edge. That one's a little long. You might need to cut them down. And on the outside edge, you're going to poke them in to this styrofoam so that they hide this ring, just like that, okay? And you're just going to go around the bottom, just like that, so that they hide that ring around the bottom. So there we go. And I'm just going to keep working my way right around the circle. And then as we go up, we're going to start going up right above them. And that's going to give you an idea of how it's going to look. And if you see you have any gaps, you can always go back in and add. And if you really want to get fancy about it, you can actually do like an ombre look to your arrangement. And you can always go back later and fill in any holes that you find. But we're just going to keep going around just like that and filling in. When you get it done to this point, looks like it's finished, you're just going to turn it around and see if there's anywhere that you think there's a hole, like right here. I think there's a little bit of a hole. So I'm just going to take this and add another rose anywhere you think that you want another, like right here, maybe there could be one more. There we go. So our arrangement is all finished on the bottom. Now, when we get started on the top, we are not going to be able to poke these into that styrofoam ring. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these right off of the stems. And now that we have cut all of these off, before we put it up on the top, we're going to do the top edge, and we are just going to take the hot glue gun, put some hot glue on these, and kind of put them down on their side, like so. Put some more hot glue on there. And you know I'm going to have to hold it for a minute until it sets. So this is a little time consuming, but you're going to get a lot of wow factor from this project for a fraction of the money that it would cost you to pay somebody else to do this. So this is a great wedding project or big fancy party project. And you can gather friends to help you make these. So you can see that's how the top of this is going to work. And I'm going to continue and finish the top of it. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to put it together and finish it. So here is our top ring where I glued the roses all the way around the top. And then I put a couple of extra ones in the middle and some around the sides, not everywhere, but just to fill in a little bit. And now we're going to turn this upside down. And we're going to take the arrangement piece and we're going to put it upside down on top. And I'm just going to put some glue right around those to secure it. So remember, we've cut these roses off. And I'm just going to put a generous amount of glue on and just stick those roses right on. And you're just going to do that and cover the entire thing. And here is our elevated centerpiece all finished. Of course, when I was finished with this, I thought it was beautiful, but I thought it was missing a little something. So I added these acrylic crystal garlands to it. I just draped them right over the top. They were not from Dollar Tree. I had these on hand from Amazon. Like I said, I just draped them right over the top. You can see I didn't attach them in any other way. You could also put a flameless candle down in the middle of the top right here, or maybe a hanging candles from them. But again, make sure that they are flameless. But other than that, I think this turned out beautiful. And other than the acrylic garlands and the dowels, everything came from Dollar Tree. So I hope you like this project. I think that it turned out just beautiful. And if you have a special event ahead of you, this is really a beautiful project.
Grab a couple plastic planters and bowls. I'm starting with 2 plastic planters. I'm going to place one upside down and then use a really strong glue like E6000. On top of this planter, I'm going to add a bowl. And then we're going to put another bowl upside down on top of that. And then finally a second planter on top. I'm using just regular acrylic paint. Then I'm going to add some baking soda. This is going to give a matte, chalky finish that looks a little bit like stone. Now I can just use a wide brush and paint this on to the plastic.
Grab some clear vases the next time you're at the dollar store. I'm using 5-minute epoxy to attach them together. To decorate the first stack of vases, I'm going to use some white paint to paint all of the outside glass. For my second stack of glasses, I want to use some alcohol ink to color the glass. Once I have a design I like, I'm going to go ahead and let this dry before adding another layer. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to give it a deeper color. Once this dries, it'll be ready to use.
Grab a waste paper can that has a flat bottom. Spray paint it any color you want, flip the painted trash can upside down, and glue a melamine charger plate. Once secure, apply clear adhesive glue to the perimeter. Center a woven placemat on top of the charger. Pick up a can of gold spray paint, take some scissors, and cut the stems apart from one another. Spread your blooms out and start to lightly spray paint each stem. Glue a couple of the stems to the side of a thin candlestick. Don't glue everything down, as you want some pieces sticking out for a 3D effect. Overspray the entire candlestick with your gold spray paint. Take a glass vase with a curved neck and cut your stem to about the same height as the vase. Hot glue one stem to the vase. Take another stem and hot glue it overlapping the leaves. Cut random leaves from other stems and glue them directly onto the glass.
We're starting with a toilet paper roll, and we are going to cut it down to about half this size. So I'm going to be taking an X-Acto blade. I essentially want to create like a flat piece, and I'm going to go around the inside. I want it to kind of fall here. And so I'm just going to continue to add glue around the surface. So I'm going to take a big heap of this, and we're going to just start layering it on. So we're going to do essentially the same thing, but I'm going to start by over the exposed base of the toilet paper roll. So I let this dry for about 24 hours. I have a sanding block. All right, now that we've sanded this down, we're gonna wipe it off.
So this is the IKEA Sortso rub, and I'm just beginning by folding it in a third. Then I'm going to repeat that on the other side as well. Apply a bead of hot glue, and I'm going to glue one edge down completely, and I'm just going to stuff my pillow, and I'm going to just close up the other end of the pillow.
Next time you are at Walmart, grab a large plastic bowl or pasta bowl and a cereal bowl. Flip the large bowl over and apply a ring of clear adhesive glue around the perimeter of the bowl bottom to secure the two bowls together. Take some decorative rope and hot glue it around the center where the two bowls meet. Fill this bowl with water and add some floating candles. Take 2 woven tissue boxes and some round puck lights with a remote control. Glue the bottom of a puck light to the inside of a tissue box so it is centered over the hole. Run some hot glue around the top of one of the tissue boxes. Flip the other tissue box upside down and attach it to the glued top of the other box. Hang your new sconce on the wall. Grab a can of black spray paint and a roll of rattan webbing. Grab one of those outdoor folding metal tables. Clean it up with cut some paper and tape to the table so only the frame shows. Give the frame a fresh coat of black spray paint and let it dry completely. Outline the top of the table onto the rattan webbing with a Sharpie. Cut out the circle with some sharp scissors. Spray one side of the rattan with some spray adhesive. Spray the top of the table and let it sit for a few seconds until the surface is tacky. Place and press the sticky side of the rattan circle onto the top of the table. Place some heavy books on top of the rattan. Use some sharp scissors to trim the excess rattan from the circle.
I completely transformed this thrifted lampshade into the most beautiful home decor. I removed the shade so it was just the wire frame. I used a utility knife to scrape off the glue. Then I sanded the wire frame with sandpaper and steel wool. I wiped clean and then spray painted it matte black. While it was drying, I sanded a wood round, wiped it clean, and sealed it with gloss spray Varathane. I applied 5 coats and then sprayed the last coat with satin Varathane. I pre-drilled and screwed the wire frame and wood round together.
The next time you're at Dollar Tree, make sure you head to their frame section and grab some of these gold frames. I'm then going to come in with some wire cutters and I'm going to pull out the black tabs that keep the backing on. Then I'm going to take out the glass and I'm going to come with some E6000 and I'm going to glue the glass inside the frame. Then I'm going to come and take 8 of the frames and I'm going to glue 2 of them together. And then I'm going to clamp them together and I'm going to let this set overnight. I came back the next day, removed all my heavy objects that I placed on top, and then as well removed the clamps from all the frames. So I'm going to glue all the sides and then I'm going to just raise them up here and build a rectangular shape. So 2 frames on each end and then the 2 that are glued together for the sides. I'm going to let this set overnight again, making sure that the glue is really solid. And then I'm just going to come in and finish it up with a nice A-frame top with my remaining 4 frames.
Separate the layers of a patterned paper napkin. Cut the paper napkin as needed. Now we are going to actually iron the paper napkin onto the taper. Heat and iron to medium-low heat, not too hot. Take painter's tape and tape off sections on a taper candle. Make sure that the edges are pressed down securely on the edges of the tape. Once taped off, paint light coats of acrylic paint in the open sections of the candle in the color or colors of your choice. Let dry completely. Fill a heat-safe container with hot water between 100 and 110 degrees. Place a taper candle in the hot water and let sit for 10 minutes. Paraffin candle works best for this. After 10 minutes, pull the candle from the water and then wrap the candle in some wax paper. Take a rolling pin and press down on the middle of the candle. Once the middle section is flattened, take the candle and gently twist it into the shape that you want. When you get the twist that you want, place the candle in cold water and this will set the candle in its new shape.
Take 16-inch wood skewers. Start by gluing wood skewers around the inner circumference of one craft hoop. Remove every other skewer to allow for even spacing and add the second hoop to the center of the skewers. Gather all the pointy ends of the skewers and fit them into a 3-inch macrame ring and hot glue in place to secure. Take twine, lace, and ribbon and add it to mask any seams or imperfections from hot gluing. Take a plug-in light fixture kit and thread it through the center of the top of the macrame loop.
Grab tall jars from the Dollar Tree. Flip the jar upside down and use glue to adhere marbles to a tall glass jar. Continue to adhere rows of spaced out marbles. Then adhere a glass bowl to the bottom side of the tall jar. Grab 6 picture frames from the dollar store, take all of the backs off, and secure the glass with hot glue. Attach the frames together using hot glue with 2 together at the top and then 2 below and another 2 below that, making sure to glue all of the edges that are touching each other. Place black electrician's tape along the edges of the backside. Use command strips to attach it to the wall.
Grab a 7.6-inch foam ball from Hobby Lobby. Pick up 20 faux stems of your choice from the dollar store. Begin inserting the rest of your single cut stems into the foam ball until it begins to form an arrangement.
You are going to want to load up on some Dollar Tree fencing and Easy Care faux flowers. I'm removing the dirt stakes from 2 plastic fence panels by scoring the plastic with an X-Acto knife, then snapping the pieces off. Now I'm flipping over the 2 fence panels good side down. I'm joining the 4 corners of the overlapped areas with black zip strips, also from the Dollar Tree. I'm placing the joined panels on top of a 3rd fence panel. I'm now going to round out the shape of the basket by attaching the bottom to the basket. The bottom is positioned, then zip stripped into place. I mixed up a small batch of acrylic craft paint to create a rust tone. Then I'm dabbing the paint onto the basket. I'm creating a liner for the basket bottom by placing the basket onto a double-sided Amazon shipping package, then tracing it and cutting it out. Some floral foam from a dollar store is being placed inside the basket. Some green moss I scooped off my lawn is being positioned along the bottom of the basket. Sprigs of taller grass is being inserted into the floral foam. Other flowers are being rotated in tone, then inserted into the floral foam around the grass.
Pick up 1 or 2 clear plastic bowls from Dollar Tree. Take a wood burning tool to create a hole in the bottom of the bowl. Take a light kit from Amazon and thread the socket through the hole. Make sure it's secure and add a light bulb.
I grabbed a ladle from my kitchen and a dollar store plastic pot. We're going to start by hot gluing our ladle directly to the container. Now that the glue is hardened, we're going to come back in with even more hot glue on the base of our ladle. And the bottom part is actually a cake stand that I got on clearance. So now we're going to just hold this here for a minute while it hardens up. And what we're going to do is snip off each flower stem individually. So after dipping them in your glue skillet, apply a generous amount of hot glue. And then what you can start doing is gluing it right to the handle of your ladle. Just continue working in even more beautiful flowers.
Head to your local Dollar Tree to start by hot gluing the paper towel holder in the center of 1 pan. Hot glue rope starting from the outer edge and work your way in. And work your way up the center of the paper towel holder until reaching the top. Take twine and baskets and wrap, tie, and secure them on either side of the paper towel holder center. Take the second round pan and pour marbles into it. Place the top pan and the baskets on top. Head to Dollar Tree and pick up 9 small wood crates and stain them with wood stain. Take 3 wood stir sticks and stain them as well. Next, glue the crates together with 3 in a row. Then stack and glue each row to the top of the first row. Cut the stir sticks to the right size and hot glue them to the front bottom of each row of the crates. Add 4 wood beads with hot glue to create a base. Then use a screwdriver to attach the drawer label holders to the stir sticks.
The next time you're at Dollar Tree, grab yourself some of their succulent picks. Also going to want to grab some of their foam pool noodles. I decided I wanted to paint my frame. Flip the frame over. I'm going to use the pool noodle as a measuring guide, and then I'm going to cut it exactly so it fits in the little ledge of the frame. And then I'm going to cut the pool noodle directly in half. I'm going to take some E6000 and I'm going to glue just the edges of the frame and the edges of the pool noodle, and I'm going to place the pool noodle into the frame, but making sure that the curved side is going to be facing out. Then once it's fully set, I'm going to come in here and create my own little backings. And then just to make the back a little prettier, I have this green fabric that I'm just going to lay over top. And then I'm going to take a stapler and I'm going to staple it around. I'm going to start with some moss. So I have some reindeer moss here. I'm going to come in with the succulent picks that I picked up from the dollar store, add a bit of hot glue to the edge, and then I'm going to work them in.
I'm taking 3 hexagon decorative mirrors and 4 small glass candlesticks from Dollar Tree. Stack 2 candlesticks on top of one another. When the glue has dried, I'm taking some black acrylic craft paint, apply the paint all over each candlestick column. Once that column is attached to the base mirror, I'm adding glue to the top of the column before stacking another mirror on top of it in the center. While I'm taking my second candlestick column and my third mirror, I'm flipping the mirror face down and applying the glue to the column before placing it on the center of the back of the mirror. It's time to stack the third mirror onto the other 2.
First step is you're going to want to drill a hole for drainage, and I'm just going to drill straight into that hole in the middle. And then we're going to get our bigger bit, and I'm going to take a junk brush to bond with the bowl above it. I've got my first strand of beads. I'm just going to take these one line at a time and just snip off the extra beads. And I'm going to repeat this process. I've got the stone texture applied. Now it's time to go in with my black spray paint.
head over to your local Walmart and grab a few sprigs of greenery. I place the pool noodle next to the top of the planter and mark the lines. Then I cut the pool noodle with a knife to the mark. After that, I place the pool noodle pieces along with some empty water bottles inside the planter to keep everything in the center and weighted down. Then I placed the sprigs of faux greenery inside the holes of the pool noodles and fluffed it all out.
Stretch out a balloon and then blow it up. Now take a torn piece of tissue paper and get it wet with some water. Gently lay it against the side of the blown up balloon and smooth it out. Continue layering pieces until the entire surface is covered. Then let it sit until it is completely dry. In a small bowl, mix together some regular glue and water, about half and half, to create a thin glue mixture. Generously brush the glue mixture onto the outside of the tissue paper covered balloon. Then press an additional layer of tissue paper pieces to the outside of the balloon. Pick up some gold and silver paper feathers at your local dollar store. Apply some glue mixture to the back of each feather and press it onto the outside of the balloon. Then place more layers of tissue paper pieces on top of the feathers and adhere with more of the glue mixture. Now the most fun part. Once the glue is completely dry, gently pop the balloon with a pin. Turn on a battery-operated faux pillar candle and place it inside your tissue paper lantern.
Pick up one garden border from your local Dollar Tree. Cut the spike bases off, add small black zip ties to attach the wreath form to the border fence. Wrap the border fence with small twinkle lights all the way around. Add greenery of choice around the top of the border fence with hot glue.
The next time you're at Dollar Tree, make sure you head to their frame section and grab some of these gold frames. I'm then going to come in with some wire cutters and I'm going to pull out the black tabs that keep the backing on. Then I'm going to take out the glass and I'm going to come with some E6000 and I'm going to glue the glass inside the frame. Then I'm going to come and take 8 of the frames and I'm going to glue 2 of them together. And then I'm going to clamp them together and I'm going to let this set overnight. I came back the next day, removed all my heavy objects that I placed on top, and then as well removed the clamps from all the frames. So I'm going to glue all the sides and then I'm going to just raise them up here and build a rectangular shape. So 2 frames on each end and then the 2 that are glued together for the sides. I'm going to let this set overnight again, making sure that the glue is really solid. And then I'm just going to come in and finish it up with a nice A-frame top with my remaining 4 frames.
I picked up one of these styrofoam wreath frames from Walmart and a few of these cones from the dollar store. I've gone ahead and painted this. So I'm going to keep 2 of these white and then I've gone ahead and painted 3 of them red. So to secure our styrofoam cones, I'm going to use a box of toothpicks. We're going to work this into the other cone. And we're going to do this once more. You could stop at 3. However, I think for the best effect, we're actually going to work in all 5. Now I just have a 1/2-inch dowel and I'll just poke it right into the styrofoam like so. Now I'm going to take a few more of those toothpicks and work them right into the styrofoam wreath. We're going to do 3 or 4 to really secure all 5 of those styrofoam cones. And right here, what we've done is created a little beach ball. And then let's stick it right next to our umbrella. We have some of these miniature starfish. I picked up the 16-inch styrofoam wreath base from Walmart, and then I headed to Amazon and I found these little drink umbrellas. As these are attached to really sharp toothpicks, they're going to be inserted into the styrofoam really easily.
Look at these flamingos that I found at Dollar Tree.
This is an 18-inch straw wreath, and I picked up some of these artificial leis at Dollar Tree. I'm going to use these floral pins, just pin them. I thought the colors were a little flat, so I picked up some acrylic paint. Each of your flamingos comes with 2 of these wire legs, if you will. But you will be able to cut them, and you want to put a healthy helping of glue all around the bottom and push the wire all the way down into your straw wreath. And I'm just going to take these and put them around the base.
We're going to start with this flat styrofoam block. I'm just going to take a knife, a kitchen knife, and we're going to cut each corner off like that. And we're going to do that to all 4 corners. It should look something like this. Now we're going to use a sunflower bush. All we're going to be doing is cutting the tops of each and every flower. So instead of using a glue gun, all we're doing is dipping our stems into some hot glue, and we're going to place them rather close together because we don't want to see much of the styrofoam in the end. So we're going to just repeat this process over and over again. This is a really kind of thick leaf palm, so we're going to take this and we're just going to wedge this in. Now we can take a pipe cleaner and twist it secure. Just take a knife and poke a little pilot hole in, add some hot glue to the end of your pipe cleaner, and then just poke that right in place. I grabbed one of these awareness ribbon wreath frames from the dollar store, and then we can work in some pipe cleaners. In the middle of the awareness ribbon right here, we want to be able to connect some deco mesh. So I'm going to take some of these pipe cleaners, I'm going to twist them to the frame, just like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back in with more pipe cleaners, and this time around, we're going to secure around 2 wires. So I'm just placing them about 4 inches apart or so. Now it's time to work in some deco mesh. We're going to cut our pieces of mesh approximately 15 inches. So we're going to cut 1 piece for every pipe cleaner. But now we're going to take our mesh, lie it flat on our table, and we're going to do what is known as the ruffle technique with deco mesh. We're going to just pinch and gather towards us until we create a little bow tie like this. We're going to just place a piece in each twist. So I came back in with a second layer of mesh, just doing the same exact process, working in a secondary piece on top of the first piece. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the 2 tails, and we're going to do the same thing with our pipe cleaners. Now we're going to do the curl technique at an angle and curl it up. We're going to just take our mesh so that it's not a perfect tube. So we're going to do that to 1 of each. We're going to pinch them together and come back into our wreath form. Now we'll do the same process to the other side. Each twist tie, we added 2 to either side, gets 2 pieces of the pink and 1 piece of the purple. So we're going to just take 1 starfish, work in a little bit of hot glue, and place it up top.
Platter from Dollar Tree. So I'm first gonna start by putting the E6000. We're gonna take the beads and we're just gonna place them all the way around. And we are gonna paint this whole surface. You're gonna be taking a printable. I have tacky glue, but you can also use Mod Podge. All right, so I added a little bit of water to my glue. We're gonna paint over it with our glue. We're gonna take an 18-inch wreath frame, some nautical rope, and we are going to be cutting it into smaller pieces to place around our wreath. I'm going to be taking some black acrylic paint. We're gonna go across. And now that this is all dry, we are gonna be taking our hot glue gun. I'm using Gorilla Glue, and I'm gonna use my hot glue, basically just to kind of cover that gap.
start this project, I need to level out the back of the shutter, and right now there's this little ridge that I want to make even. These little thin tongue depressors should do the trick so that it's all level. While that shutter glue is drying, I want to go ahead and start painting these 4 vintage spindles I had. I want to give the pieces I just glued on a quick sanding. It's time to paint the shutter now. With the shutter completely painted, I'm ready to attach the spindles to it.
This is a wooden bread box. I picked up 2 of these on Amazon. I'm gonna paint the door a black. I'm also gonna paint the handle on the front of the bread box a gold. I created some little legs. These are small pieces of wood that I cut into about 2-inch blocks, and I'm just painting them with that same black craft paint. To assemble this, I'm going to stand both bread boxes on their sides and push the bottoms together. I am using a wood glue, and I'm gonna hold them together with clamps. I'm going to attach the legs with wood glue as well.
You know all those lonely donated lampshades? Pick up a matching pair. Pick up a thrifted belt. Run a bead of clear glue around the perimeter. Take the other lampshade, place it on top of the other lampshade, take some jute twine and tie the inner hardware of the 2 lamps together. Give the connected shades a little shake to make sure they are securely connected. Take the belt and buckle it around the skinny center of the 2 lampshades. Add a little glue to the loose end of the belt and secure it to the rest of the belt. Find a thin wood circle disc. Paint the edge with some acrylic paint. And peel and stick wallpaper is perfect for this project.
We're going to head down to our local nursery and pick up some paver edges. Whatever side you choose though, make sure they both match when you're putting them together. Next, we got to make sure we adhere them with some good liquid nails. You want to put a liberal amount on both sides. Don't go, the more you put, the better, because pavers are very rough and that glue is going to fill the inside. Once we do it, we're going to turn it up on its edge and we're going to stick 2 of the pavers together, making sure they match. Once you get those 2 together and you let it dry a couple hours, you can lay it flat. We're then going to grab our 3rd paver and we're going to put another bead of glue on top. You're going to put it right down the middle of the 2 pavers that you did. So once you get that on and let that dry, turn those 3 over again. Make sure you're giving a couple hours so it holds together. And we're going to again put some glue on the edge of that paver and put it in place. Now we got the top of our project right here. And I'm going to run a bead of glue down each edge on top. And then I'm going to take my top paver, put it on top right there. Let's head over to Dollar Tree and we're going to grab a paper towel holder. Let's all run down to the hardware store and grab us a wood round. Gotta sand the edges. Got to condition the wood. Let it dry about 30 minutes to an hour. Once it dries, it's time to put on some stain. We're going to get 3 of those paper towel holders and we're going to set them in place. What we need to do is paint them. Once we get it all painted, let it dry. Now we got to curve the edges a little bit and bend them. Don't bend them too far, just get them a little 20 degrees and we're going to do all 3 at the same angle. Now we're going to put them in place on the bottom of our wood round. And I'm going to take these little electric hooks that I got out of the hardware store and I'm going to put 4 all the way around each side of these circles here. And once I got them marked, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill. I'm going to go ahead and put little tiny screws in and hold these clips in place. And I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue and then I'm going to take some twine. I'm going to set it there and then I'm going to start wrapping it all the way around.
I'm laying down 6 21-inch hula hoops on some butcher block paper. Each hoop is getting spray painted in black. I applied several coats to ensure all areas were well covered. I'm going to join 4 hoops to the first hoop, attaching evenly on all 4 sides. I'm attaching the first hoop loosely with a black zip tie. 3 more hula hoops are being attached to the first hula hoop, creating an even pattern of 5. A 6th hula hoop is being placed on top of an exterior hula hoop and attached with a zip tie on its left side only. Each hula hoop on each side is being positioned vertically, then attached to the top hoop to create a cube shape. I'm attaching some lightweight twine to one side of the top hula hoop with double knots. I'm stringing the twine across the top hula hoop in random places to create a spiderweb effect. Keeping the twine as tight as possible is the key. Now I'm positioning the wood round onto the twine.
I'm gonna go right down the center and just cut them in half so that I have that flat edge to go flush against the board.
Space the noodles out with a little bit of spacing in between and then attach them also with the staple gun for some added stability. I worked in sections of about 4 at a time, sprayed a little bit of spray adhesive on, and then just kind of used my hands to firmly work the leather into the channels. I trimmed the edge at the corner and then just tucked it over and secured it tightly with a little little bit of spray adhesive, and then also more of the staples. Once that corner was secure, I just worked my way down.
Ran down to the dollar store and picked up some pool noodles. I cut them in half lengthwise. I made sure to cut the pool noodles to the length of the bench seat, and I secured it in place using a staple gun. At this point, I also added some fabric. I chose outdoor fabric because I knew that my bench was going outdoors. I secured this in place as closely as I could to the bottom of the pool noodle, put the fabric over that piece, and secured that piece again. And I continued this pattern of noodle fabric so that I could create tufted channels, and the fabric would look like it goes all the way down in between the different pool noodle pieces. When I got to the end of the bench, I again took that last piece of pool noodle, wrapped it around the back edge of the wood, and secured it in place. Now I needed to add the legs. I had ordered these legs off of Amazon. All I had to do was secure them in place using the screws that came in the box.
What I did was I laid out some cardboard, spray painted it a couple of times to make both boards the exact same length. You're gonna take your first hula hoop that's already painted, and you're gonna set it on top of the boards. Then what we're gonna do is drill through all four corners here. You're gonna put one of your hooks in with it. Make sure it's facing up, and you'll screw it through it. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Now what we're gonna do is turn it around and do the other side. We're gonna take a little bit of dab of glue right next to the screw, take the rope, and just gently wrap it around the loop.
Get a styrofoam cooler. I found mine at Walmart. Take a piece of cardboard, trace with a Sharpie, and cut with an X-Acto blade to make it slightly smaller than the lid of the cooler. Take a piece of upholstery foam and trace with a Sharpie and cut with an X-Acto blade. Hot glue the upholstery foam to the top of the lid with the cardboard on top of that. Take a blanket, rug, or textile of your choice and cut it to size to the top of the lid. Fold and hot glue to the lid and trim the excess. Use an old sheet, cut to size, and wrap around the cooler base. Hot glue all the way around the base of the cooler and trim off the excess. Cut the remainder of the blanket, fold over, and hot glue the edges to clean them up. Wrap the blanket pieces around the base with hot glue. Add tassels from the blanket around the top of the base of the cooler to give it a boho look.
Today's project starts with a pool noodle. We're going to take a piece of duct tape and use that to hold it in place. Once we got our three rings together, we're going to stack them up. Once I get that, I'm going to cut some more pool noodles and they're going to stack inside. We need them to be level with the top. Start on the outside and work your way to the end. Now you're going to start on one end and go ahead and slice your tape and put it on the bottom. Go across the three pool noodles, across the top, down the bottom. We're actually going to need to cover the whole thing in duct tape because we're going to need to apply some hot glue to it. And then right in the middle, I'm going to put a first dab of hot glue. I'm going to take this rope right here, this cotton rope, and go ahead and put it on there.